So, as most of you may know, Ubisoft is actually creating a new open world Star Wars game. Although there are no specific release dates or any concrete information, today I just want to speak about the possible locations that this game could be set in. Of course, we know it's open world, but what does this really mean? Is it going to be one world, or are we going to be able to travel to multiple worlds? So the very basic information that we know already is this game will be made using the Snowdrop engine. The most notable game that this has been used for in the past is the Division series. The Division is now a well-established series of games with both Division 1 and Division 2. However, even though these games are technically open world, they're obviously only on one map and not really comparable in size to games like Assassin's Creed and Grand Theft Auto. Obviously, we're all hoping for an absolutely massive Star Wars game that will impress under every single aspect: graphics, map design, map size, game length. We've already been shown by EA that a multi-planet Star Wars game is not out of question. Although Fallen Order is not open world, it was very well received. But of course, this is a completely different studio now, the main one being obviously Ubisoft and Lucasfilm Games, who have risen from the dead. So why have I mentioned the Division? Not only is it the same game engine used as what will be used to make this new Star Wars game, it also recreates a city, and it shows how much detail they could cram into the city. From everything from rubbish flying around, detailed interiors, detailed exteriors, and just a sense of environment. This will tie into one of the locations that I think would be the best for this game. So I'm going to go through a list of 5 worlds that I think this game could be set in, and I'd happily put money down that it will be one of these 5. We'll start off with number 5. I think this is the least likely one out of the bunch, and it relies solely on when this game's set. And that's because the world is Alderaan, and as you probably know, this was destroyed by the Death Star. Why would this location be a good location to set an open world Star Wars game in? There is 11 cities based on this planet that are known of. However, some are in Legends, while the majority are in canon. And again, that depends on what type of game this is, when it's set, and is it canon. Just go briefly into the capital city of Alderaan, which is Alderia. This is a very scenic city. The city itself sits in the middle of a lake, in the vicinity of snowy mountains. This is the largest city on Alderaan, and it even features its own spaceport. The amount of detail that could go into a city like this is absolutely massive, and the possibilities are endless. But obviously, like I say, this is the least likely one due to being destroyed by the Death Star in 0BBY. Number 4 is Navarro. You may have heard of this in the Mandalorian series. Unlike most desert planets in Star Wars, this has a large variety of big cities but also diverse populations, which could allow it to be a much fuller and complete open world game than many other of the planets. This could also allow the game to tie in with the story of Boba Fett and how his armor got there, and even explore all the monsters and legends that were briefly explained in the Mandalorian series but never explored. Now, there's not that much information about this planet, but it would definitely be an interesting one. Navarro ties in perfectly with number 3. As if Navarro was in the game, everyone would ask the question, why wasn't it Tatooine? So Tatooine is our number 3. Tatooine is by far the most popular desert planet in Star Wars, and arguably one of the most popular, full stop. Tatooine has been included in absolutely anything related to Star Wars. It is a constant reoccurring area and one of the most iconic planets in Star Wars lore. It is quite obviously one of the most nostalgic planets, as it was featured prominently in A New Hope, and there's obviously a lot of history regarding this planet, and obviously a lot of untold stories. The possibilities are really endless with this type of world. Got everything from big cities to little towns, spaceports. It has areas that are full of outlaws. It has areas full of Imperials, racing. Now just imagine an open world game where you could go pod racing. You could do that on Tatooine. Just the same with Navarro, they could add big bosses on each corner of the map that you go down and face. You could go find the Jawas, buy droids off them, maybe even have a few businesses, own the cantina, own a farm. The possibilities with a map like this, although it being a desert, are infinite. If done right, this could be one of the best locations for the game to be set in. Number 2 is Naboo. Nice little rhyme for you there.
Nice.
Although the prequels were frowned upon by many, one of the most eye-catching worlds to be displayed was very obviously Naboo. Now there are a few dangers if they choose this. Although Naboo is very eye-catching, the main city is based on a real city in Spain. And why is this dangerous? If they choose this location, it could be hard to make it feel like Star Wars, rather than just a modern day game set in Spain. But if they could overcome that it would be like eye candy. Just like my other selections, it includes massive cities, but unlike my other selections, instead of dead space where there's just sand for miles and miles, this location would have sprawling forests, massive lakes, beaches, but even these locations where not a lot would be going on, for example, lakes, on a map set on Naboo, these lakes can have underwater cities. Now imagine running around Naboo, 1 minute you're around a city, nice and sunny, looks like Spain, then the next minute you're underwater in a massive bubble with Jar Jar Binks staring at you. I think if they do choose Naboo, the game would have to be set in the Clone Wars era, and since Ubisoft's other games using the snow engine have been Earth maps, like The Division with New York City, I think if done right they could really get Naboo right, as it is actually an Earth city, and it would be a truly iconic location. My top pick though, you could have probably guessed, is Coruscant. Why? Quite simple really. It's the original home of the Republic, Jedi Council, heavily involved in the prequel trilogy. There's tons of environments and tons of depth that have been explored in numerous TV shows and various movies. Pretty much the whole planet is a city. I think this would give a very cyberpunk feel, as the lower you get down to the ground, the more scummy it is, where the bounty hunters roam the streets, and as you get higher up, gets posher and posher till you get to the sort of the Jedi Council, obviously being one of the main buildings on Coruscant. There's got to be so much on Coruscant that's never been spoken about, and if set on Coruscant, you've got to think no matter what sort of character they put you in the shoes of, whether it be a bounty hunter, Jedi, or just a random general character, there's going to be a chance for so much depth and progression. So they were my top 5 picks for locations for the new Star Wars game. If you think any other locations should have been included, leave a comment down below. I know this was a very different style video, but as you may be, I am also interested in this new Star Wars game. With very little information available right now, I thought it would be good to go through the possible locations of the new Star Wars game. I don't like asking for subs, but if you did enjoy and you want to see more videos regarding this new Star Wars game, any current Star Wars games, or just any other game in general, as I do post more than just Star Wars, it'd be much appreciated if you subscribe, as we're about halfway to 1,000 subs. Thanks for watching, see ya.
It's the dream.